So, if it's going to be a credit card authorization, I can handle that and communicate with the hotels how to, work that. Same way we work with like the refs and staff.
Thank you for coming on. You're welcome to sit around, or you can, I doubt you'll want to sit around for a few hours, but thank you. And I'm sure people will be in touch. So thanks for joining.
If you have any questions, let me
Everybody
know.
wave at Sheila, say bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Nice meeting you.
Miss Sue, are you on? Sue
Yes.
Dillon. Yeah.
Yep, I'm here. Yep.
Okay. Folks, I'll introduce Sue, and then she's going to introduce the other ones. Sue is our board chair from starting this year. She took over the position from Lance. His term expired, and he did a tremendous job in bringing us through some new policy governance systems that we implemented several years back. So, Sue?
There's no gas?
You got it.
All right. I just wanted to say hello to everybody. I know this is a much needed meeting at this point. I want to let you know that we've been working really hard over the summer trying to figure out this whole COVID thing, because our goal is to have everybody play. We really want the season to happen. We want it to happen safely. No one's worked harder than Jimmy. We also we did our ends and limitations under the new policy governance, and Jimmy had a very good review. Did a great job this year under all very tough circumstances. So I do want to say thank you to Lance, though, because I learned a lot from Lance last summer in our meeting, and he did an amazing job. So I'm trying to fill in his footsteps. I know that's tough, but thank you, Lance. And our vice chair, and for those of you, I'm probably forgetting we got new people on here. Those of you who don't know me, I'd be surprised, but I'm the director of Lake Murray Volleyball. I also used to be with Columbia Volleyball Club and ran the Clash and Crown. I currently run the Pafucas outdoor tournaments, and I've just been elected to be the beach and outdoor chair, and we'll cover that later in the meeting. We're trying to get really big into outdoor because it's good for the girls, and the beach college game is getting huge. So I've basically been doing this since I moved here back in '92. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. If you want to give Jimmy a break, and I'll try to field some questions and then try and forward to Jimmy I can. I know a lot of times you got to go straight to Jimmy, but the board we have has been really great. We all work great together. Everybody's been real attentive. So I'd like to start by introducing Chuck. Chuck Ray is our vice chair. So go ahead, Chuck.
Hi all, hopefully you can hear me okay. It's great to see so many familiar faces. I've been so impressed. I've been a part of the region for 15 years now, on and off. Just with the growth of the region, how each of you have contributed to how well this region is represented across the country. And it does start with Jimmy. But just what the region used to be when I first started to the competitiveness that it is now is awesome, and compliments to each one of you. As I said, I started about 15 years ago at Low Country Volleyball Club under Al Stern. So I know quite a few of the old people, and I like to look forward to getting in touch with some of the new people. You know, I was around in the Jim Beckham days, and that was back when Jimmy Payton had this club called Club South, if you're familiar with that. And you know, when you're part of a small club and Jimmy Payton had this huge conglomerate of a club, you always think that Jimmy's trying to bend all the rules to his way. And when you're part of a small club, you might have a small myopic view of things. And in reality, he is fair, and he tries to do the best for everybody. And it's easier for me to see that perspective now. I'm a college coach now at Winthrop University. I went from Low Country Volleyball Club in Bluffton High School to Georgia Southern, University of Minnesota, Winthrop, Miami of Ohio, and now I'm back as head coach at Winthrop. And so I also played volleyball at Arizona State, and I grew up in the Great Lakes region. So I've probably been a part of 5 different regions, but really I owe a lot to this region because this is really the region that has helped me grow and develop the most. And so my time now is really here to hopefully serve each of you, just as Sue was talking about. And please let us know what we can do for you.
Oh, you froze up, Chuck, if you're still there. While he's unfreezing, I will say if you guys should follow him on his blogs and stuff, he's a great teaching coach, has a lot of information. Chuck, okay, you're frozen. Sue, will you pick back up and introduce the next one?
I sure will. Kim Christman would be next. She's been on the board, I don't even know how many years now. You can tell him, Kim, but I've also learned a lot from her. So Kim, go ahead.
Hey everybody, good to see you all this afternoon. I'm Kim Christman. I've been a part of the region for 17 years now. I've been a club director for the past 13. And I've been on the board since we started this governance system. So I think that's 5 or 6 years maybe. But as the others said, just happy to help. If you have any questions or need anything from me, feel free to reach out.
Kim, don't you have an announcement? No?
No.
Okay. No cat's out of the bag. Come on.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure what that's about, but all right. And then we have Suzanne Dodd. She is new this year to us, and she does a great job representing us, especially when it comes to the official side of things. So go ahead, Suzanne.
Hey, everybody. Good afternoon. Yeah, so I'm Suzanne Dodd. I know many of you from when I'm across the court on the stand blowing the whistle, but I've been a part of this region now for, I think, about 18 years. Both of my kids play. They've played for different clubs, and I've been refereeing for about 25 years now. So I'm interested in representing the officiating side of the sport to the board. And so far I've had a pretty good voice in that, and I really appreciate y'all letting me serve you. And hopefully we can work really hard to build the officiating cadre. And I'm just gonna go ahead and put an appeal out now, because we are going to have a great demand for officials in the spring. And we're concerned that we're going to be, that we may not be able to supply as many officials that's going to be needed. If you think about all that's going on, the women's collegiate game, many conferences are going to be playing in the spring. We've got beach volleyball, we've got men's volleyball, collegiate volleyball, and around the country, some high schools will be playing in the spring. So we throw that in with the juniors volleyball, and there's going to be a lot of opportunities for officials to work. So we've got to work hard. We've had to work hard over the years to recruit officials to be able to meet the demand, but we're really going to have to this year. So if you have anybody who you think might be interested in this, send them my way, or to Luis, who's also on this meeting. He's our referee chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Suzanne.
Okay, and last but not least, we have Gwen Wiltshire. Pretty sure she's on. Yes, Gwen?
Yeah, I'm on.
She's been on here. Hey, Gwen. She's been on for more years than me, so she's even more experienced. Go ahead.
I'm Gwen Wiltshire. I'm director of Columbia Starlings Volleyball, and I've been on the board since we started Policy Government, so about 5 or 6 years. And I'd like to kind of say I'm kind of the small club representative, so I kind of give that point of view that everybody else may not have that has a larger club. So try and make sure we're represented on all fronts. Thank you.
Thank you, Gwen.
All right, thank you, Gwen. I think that's it for me, Jimmy, for now.
Okey-doke. Thank you, everybody. That's our board for 2021. All right, next, put your competitive juices on, flip over to Poll Everywhere, and we're gonna have a little trivia contest. Let me share my screen in just a second. Get back up here. Hang on one sec. Well, here we go. And here. All right. So This will be a trivia contest. We're going to take the top three. It'll score you. We'll take the top three, and you'll be sent a prize, a goodie in the mail. So hopefully everybody is ready. And if you are, you have, I think it gives you 15 seconds to answer. So let's try this and see how it does. Let's see here. Right. You'll notice the time at the bottom left. And there's what we got started. So the correct answer is 1928. And here's the leaderboard. Top three. Okay, here we go. Second question. Correct answer is 1999. Let's see how the leaderboard looks. And Alice, you're still in the lead. Vicky's coming on. Mr. Sloan Calvert's into the prize. All right. You techies that have quick enough action to Google that, you'll be in good shape. Ah, people knew their history. All right.
Jimmy, I assume the score is also based on speed too.
I don't know. It may be. It may be.
I assume some people might be all correct answers, but the scores are slightly different.
Yep, it does. So 1964 is the correct one. Let's see, leaderboard. Oh, Sue's done jumped up there. And Bill's come in. All right. Next, we're going to do new club introductions. So you guys be ready. That's new clubs. And 1984. Several of you got that, quite a bit. Oh, Bill's gone to the lead. Not sure how we're getting these markings in there. And it's Massachusetts. So let's see what happens. Well, Bill's still in the lead with Cynthia and Kim right behind them. All right. And the answer is North Carolina. That should change the top. Oh, Katie's run on up there. Go, Katie. Let's see. We got one more. Nope, that is it. So Katie, Bill, and Cynthia get a prize. If you'll put that down, Miss Julie. And we're back. And Chuck must be back on live. All right, I'm going to introduce a couple of new clubs. Jessica, are you on? I don't think she could make it. How about Palmetto Pride, Cedric? There we go.
Hey everybody, my name is Cedric Warren. I am the founder and executive director of Palmetto Pride Sports, which is a low-cost sports organization based in Columbia, South Carolina. We are dedicated to exposing minority youth to sports with low minority representation, including volleyball, soccer, tennis, lacrosse. So reducing that financial barrier and access barrier to include more kids into the sport. We seek to develop versatile citizens through education, exposure, and empowerment. So we want to build the culture of tennis and soccer at the youth development level, but also offer travel sports as well at a reduced cost, so more kids are able to play and experience that. So happy to be here and happy to be a part of Palmetto Region.
Thank you. Welcome. Welcome. The Shady Sandbox.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Paulo Briones. I've been coaching for 4 years, but for this season, I've decided to try to do it on my own, but primarily focusing on outdoor beach volleyball for youth and adult. Thank you.
Great. Welcome. Welcome. Metro Elite. Sadie, you right there?
Yes, and turn my camera on.
Sure, you're not having a bad hair day.
Oh yeah, kind of sort of, but I'll be okay. My name is Sade Pugh. I've coached for a couple clubs in the Palmetto region. I played in the Palmetto region with Columbia Starlings. So I learned a lot from Gwen Wilcher. So Gwen, just be on the lookout for a lot of questions. But I'm currently the varsity volleyball coach at W.J. Keenan High School. I've been coaching varsity volleyball for 7 years, and I'm just so happy to be a part.
Welcome. Welcome.
Thank you.
And then we've got Mackenzie Holbrooks, but Mackenzie, I do not believe you were on, and I'm not sure if your assistant got on. If there was in Westminster, Top Guns.
Yes, sir. This is Candace Brookie. I'm serving as her assistant coach, and we're just one team. We're not even really a whole club. We're going to play in 16U this year, so we're really excited to be able to get back into the Palmetto region. I've been associated with some clubs that were in JVA the last year or so, but I'm really excited to get back into the Palmetto region. We were formerly with Foothills, and that club disbanded, so we're excited. Thanks for having us.
Welcome, and one team equals a club, so you're starting.
Awesome, that's great. Thank you.
Welcome. All right, Kirsten, are you on? Kirsten, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm here. I made it.
You're up, baby.
All right.
You got your agenda?
Yeah.
Okay.
So talk a
Introduce yourself.
Okay. I'm Kirsten Bosnick. I was a longtime Palmetto region member who has recently moved up to the Boston area. I played, coached, officiated, all of that, was on the board for a short while in Palmetto region, and now mostly doing officiating stuff, but I still am running our membership within the region. So all of the registration questions with Sport Engine, I'm it. And then I also help out with USAV Academy. And so questions on officiating clinics and that kind of stuff I handle. And anything else I can answer to help alleviate for Jimmy. But as far as the stuff for this agenda, all adults have to have a background screening to be on associated with juniors. So background screening lasts 2 years. If you paid for it last year, When you register, it should transfer over with your new Sport Engine account. If it doesn't, and you notice that right away, you can contact me and I'll double check the system and make sure that the two systems linked up. The idea is if you use the same first name as used in WebPoint, so if you used your legal first name or if you used a nickname, use the same one as you used for WebPoint in the past. Also the same email address, date of birth, then the two systems should talk and bring over all your credentials, your impact training, your background screening, all of that should be pulled over. Like I said, if you notice that it is not there, email me. I have a way to look it up and pull that over for you. If you were due for a background screening this year, you're gonna have to pay for it no matter what. Impact lasts a lifetime, but anyone that is going to be on a roster as a coach is required to have impact training. So again, that should pull over if you took it in the past. If you're new, your Sport Engine account should link and basically say, click here to go take it. Safe Sport is also an annual accreditation. So if you've never taken it before, it'll take you to do the core. If you've taken the core in the past, then you just have to do the recertification. All of that should pull to your Sport Engine account where you can click on it and it'll take you there. The idea. So Safe Sport, Impact, all of those are free. The only thing you'd have to pay for is your background screening on top of the regular membership fees.
Kirsten, remind them that this year in Sports Engine, it'll actually tell them if they have not done their requirements.
Right. So it's going to show that you're ineligible. It's going to say, when you register, it should send you an email of like, you have to complete all these things. You can click on it from there or from in your Sport Engine account under your house, not in your club HQ. You guys are club directors, so you have more access. But in your individual household, you can access your USAV stuff. And that I think I put it in the agenda. Yeah, so if you click on your household and then select yourself, you can click view details on the USA Volleyball membership. Then that will show you.
Thomas calls Grandma and Trey.
Sorry.
So you should be able to see your training that's required there and click on it to go to that. Is that what you're talking about, Jimmy?
Yeah. Yep.
And once we iron out all of the officiating requirements, that's also how you'll access the officiating requirements. So as far as the juniors team officiating requirements, nothing has changed as far as you need to have at least one adult certified as an R2. You need to have at least 2 total people on your roster, so you can always have a backup certified as R2s, as well as 2 certified as scorers. Our certification process is only the online piece. We don't require an in-person piece. So if you feel the need to have everybody on your team, everybody on your roster complete all the certifications, you're able to do that. If you want to meet the bare requirements, have at least 2 people for everything, and 1 adult has to be certified as an R2. The bigger tournaments, sometimes they require the adult as the R2, so it's a lot better to have an adult that knows what's going on and knows the requirements that the girls are expected to keep.
Let me mention to everybody that this year, I put in the revised agenda that we're going to require somebody on the team to have an R1 certification, simply for what Suzanne spoke of earlier. We're concerned that we may not have sufficient officials in every event. So if that's the case, somebody would have to step up.
Let's see. We also require that an adult be part of the work team or seated at the work table. So if you're the coach, you can be the R2 and be the supervisor of the table at the same time, but we must have a certified adult rostered on the team, seated at the table or part of the work team.
And there'll be a small modification on that as we get in later about tournament requirements, but that's correct.
So to become certified, it's all online. It's going to be USAV Academy again, but we know how much of a pain it's been, and they're working to modify it. Part of being with Sport Engine is that the registration process for the courses should be much smoother. And they are also, and Luis might be talking about this, I'm not sure, going to be gearing more of the courses and modules specifically to the juniors players. That is a work in progress. And so more information will come as we get it, as to the exact details. But it won't be quite the same as like, oh, I go to WebPoint and I have to register for all these modules. It will be accessing Academy, and then there will be some registration piece within Academy. Let's see.
You mentioned that we're going to change certifications will be good for 2 years.
Right. So starting now, certifications will be able to last for 2 years. So we're still at a clean slate. Everybody will need to get certified this season, but that certification will last for 2 years. And then a few Sport Engine need to know. I know we had Tammy come and talk to the club directors that were able to join on a lot of Sport Engine details, but some of the high level need to know stuff for Sport Engine would be, don't forget to add Palmetto Region as an admin for your club's HQ. It's not the same as WebPoint. So if you don't give us access, we have no access to your club within Sports Engine.
And cannot help you.
Correct. We can give you some basic ideas, but we can't get in there and really help. I know that with the club director emails, they've sent out how to add us to your admins. So I know Julie sent that out a few times. The other key thing, and one thing that I'm going to almost 50% of the time on the questions you guys are sending to me, is there's a need help tab on the right side, middle of your screen in Sports Engine. There's articles that are awesome. So sometimes it's like, oh, I'm looking to add somebody. Type in add to my roster. Oh, here's an article, perfect. If there's something a little more specific to your club, your situation, during business hours, they have a live chat function. So sometimes you might wait 10 minutes for them to reply, something like that. But then you get someone that can actually look up what's going on and give you specific feedback. So that's going to be one of your greatest tools, is being able to pull up the help articles and having a live access to their help.
And I will mention there's some very good training videos, short videos that's been sent out to you guys. But if you have not viewed those yet, please do that before you get into the season.
So along with that, along with us not having access to like your HQs, we don't have access to the individual members' accounts. We can see who's registered with us, but we can't make a lot of the changes that we could make before, like, oh, my email address is wrong. They will need to go into their accounts. If you're having problems logging into an account, that's when that need help is going to be your lifesaver, because I have no access to any usernames, any passwords. Like, this is for your protection so that we don't have a bunch of people with too much access. But the individual users won't be able to come to me anymore for help accessing their accounts. It's all going to have to be that Sport Engine help desk. Gotten a few questions from parents already. No one is able to choose their club up front. So to be included in part of a club, the club directors, the club admins have to send out an invite. You have to invite yourself to your club. Otherwise, you're not going to be associated with a club. Like, you'll still have access to your HQ, but you aren't going to show under your members until you actually go in and invite yourself. And I know Jimmy sent out emails with those details, but if you need help with that, let me know. But that's going to...
That will be after tryouts and after a commitment is made.
For the players,
For
For the
players.
players, that will be after you have their commitment to your club. So after tryouts, after they say we're playing for you, you would send those out. But for yourselves, for your admins, for your coaches, you can go ahead and send those out. For the tryouts, membership, since we now don't have those players associated with your club, you can't go into WebPoint and say, oh, I can see those players all have a live membership because they already chose my club. So membership cards are digital, and basically they can download a QR code. They can access it through their Sport Engine account, through their email, what they got. And you can take a picture of that and see that they have a live membership. And then one other one, a lot of you guys are club directors and you're also coaches. Maybe some of you are going to also be officials. So if you have multiple roles, you can register for all of those roles. You don't pay extra for any of them. Sometimes it's been popping up, like if you registered as a coach and then you're trying to do your club director one, it says it's going to charge you on the initial screen. But then when you go into it, it hasn't charged anyone that I've been aware of, and it should not charge you. But it might associate some different training in the future. We can maybe link up our officiating modules with it. But for our coaches, it's saying, oh, they have to have impact. They have to have the background screen. They have to have safe sport. Whereas for like our parents, it won't do the impact, because that's a coaching certification, not a certified adult requirement. All right, Jimmy, you want to talk about the refund policy?
Yeah, only thing I'm gonna say is the refund policy should be up on the website already. In short, there's no refunds on limited memberships like the tryout membership. The 11 and under is $15 and the 8 and under is free anyway. But what is different, in case you guys get questions, is there's 2 transactions that'll show up on a credit card. It'll be one from PVA and one from USAV. So for example, a kid, when they do the tryout membership, I think it's $7 and $8, something like that split, like 7 goes to USAV and 8 comes to us. It'll actually be 2 transactions. And then when they upgrade the other $35 to get to the $50 membership for full, there'll be another split. So there'll actually be 2 transactions. That's the only thing different. It's still the same cost. It's just 2 transactions in your credit card charges. You have anything else?
Oh, I think that's the bulk of it. Were there any questions on what I went through?
Any questions out there, general questions, not specific? Talk to her or me about specific questions, but any general questions that you don't understand at this point. There'll be still quite a bit of training going on between now and then.
Right.
You can speak up or put it in the chat.
Yeah, feel free to shoot me an email at any point. I try to get back within the same day. If it's a long weekend, sometimes I'm away from the computer here and there, but I try to reply to emails as quickly as I can.
And one thing, help me, I think this is correct. We're going to use communication via Sports Engine by both email and text to the club directors for last minute urgent items. So you have to go into your personal account, into your settings, and make sure under Palmetto Volleyball that both you've approved communication for email and cell phone. We'll send out in the director's desk screenshots of what that looks like soon. Anything else? Any questions for her, guys? Anybody?
There's a couple in the chat. There's
Yeah.
2 that came up in chat.
Raphael, we are not sure when the academy will be opened up yet. We will send out information when it is ready. I know that we're still the modules are not up there yet completely, so we will let everyone know when it is up and ready. And then Katie, so I don't think that we're going to have a master list as far as that. As far as, I mean, if they know they have it, it's kind of like in the past where a lot of times either had to, I don't know, Jimmy, what do you want to say on it?
I would say this, directors, if we're going to emphasize to you guys to put this out on all your written material and your website, and we'll be sending it out. Of course, we're not capturing new members. We will not be able to communicate to them until they actually sign up. So it's going to be up to you guys to tell them in advance. If you want them to have insurance and protect yourself, they need to have that trout membership. So I would say that they should not be trying to find out if they've got a membership an hour before coming to tryouts. They ought to do that several days or a week in advance so they make sure they can print out a card and have it. If they don't, that's really up to you guys. They could do it while they're sitting there on their telephone, especially if they got a parent with them. So it's not a big deal. Safe sport for 18s, Kirsten.
So all U18 players will be prompted to do safe sport upon registering.
Or if they turn 18 during the season.
I believe.
My understanding.
Okay, but so isn't it all U18 players?
Should be, but I'm not. It's just what I was told, if they turn 18, even if they're, I don't know, I haven't looked at the definition. But
I guess what I meant is based on the age definition, if they're U18, they would fall into that category. Now, if they're U17, put on your U18's team, no, they don't have to have it because they wouldn't be turning 18 within that time period.
Right.
It will automatically prompt that within their registration. And so this time they're allowing them to take it before they turn 18. So it's not a mad dash to find out, oh, Sally just turned 18 this week and we're going to Big South and now we have to have it done and getting that done. It's going to be prompted at the beginning of the season this year.
Okay. And if you guys have any other questions for her, I assume you'll be on for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Put them in the chat room and she can respond to you there. Next is just putting a face with the name. Louise, are you there?
Yes, sir.
All right. Louise is our officials chair for the region, has done a tremendous job in growing our officials and is directly involved in hiring officials, training them and stuff like that. So Louise, how are you?
Team, good afternoon. I hope everyone is doing well during this time of crisis. First, I wanted to say thank you very much to Jimmy and the board of directors for giving me the opportunity to be part of this meeting. For those that do not know me, I'm Luis Martinez. I'm your Palmetto Region Officials Chair. I'm also a USAV and college national official. I'm a national line judge, a zonal beach referee, vice chair of the Palmetto College volleyball officials, and one of the most important duties that I currently have, other than this one, is that I am a member of the USAV Diversity, Recruiting, and Retention Committee. In the past 4 years, we have increased our cadre of officials. This year, we have at least 20 new individuals interested in officiating. Please remember that we are always seeking for new officials. We currently have a rating program where new officials get rated at least 3 times during the season. These officials are also rated during the first tournament of the season. We usually use the first 2 day, the 2-day tournaments to rate our officials. Our regular officials, they get rated within a 3-year period. Communication with tournament hosts have improved over the last year as well. We're now in the practice of providing the host with a spreadsheet that contains all officials and their personal contact information. This document is provided at least 48 hours before the tournament. Like Suzanne mentioned, we will have some challenges this season due to the schedule changes by some colleges. Colleges are moving their season to spring. We will work hard to provide the best quality of officials available. Lastly, and if you got a pen, I'm actually going to put it on the chat. If you have any issues, problems, or concern with any official, please text me or call me at 915-309-8626. I said again, 309-8626. Please don't call Jimmy regarding officials, because what's going to happen, you're going to call him and he's going to call me. Okay. Jimmy, that's all I have. I pause for any questions.
Anything for Louise? All right, folks, again, you can get him through his cell phone, leave something in the chat, and we'll get it to him and have him answer it later. Thank you, Louise.
Thank you.
Another put a face to a name is Julie McMahon. She's actually here in the same city that I live in, and Julie has been kind of a number of things for the region. But Julie, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Julie handles our newsletters, both the director's desk and the region resource. She does some miscellaneous stuff for us, like doing our medals, getting them to host, but she's going to do a lot of work with Kim and the region and coordinating tournament deadlines, making sure that behind the scenes we get information out on time to you guys, to members, to families, and formats, to officials, everything. So there's a lot of work that's going to be done there, and so anyway, Julie, you'd like to say?
Yeah, hi everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. I'm excited. I think this is my 4th year working with the region, and I've worn a lot of hats, some big, some small. Looking forward to the upcoming tournament responsibilities. But one that Jimmy wanted me to focus on talking to you guys about today is the director's desk. This, guys, is our primary means of communicating with you. Every issue that comes out will have a required reading section. So please make sure you read the required reading. I've had some people come to me and say that they haven't been able to find the director's desk in their emails. Mine personally comes to my promotions folder on my email, so please check that. And if for some reason you are still not getting it, contact us and let us know, so I can double check your email in our contact list. Another role that Jimmy didn't mention is any new club or new club director. I am your point person. I'll be the person that you come to first to answer any questions. And if I can't answer those questions, then I'll get the answers for you. But there's a lot of new crazy stuff, honestly, for everybody this year, but most especially for new clubs and new club directors. This may be just a whole new can of worms for you. So don't hesitate to contact me if you need to. And that goes honestly for any club director. If you have a question, please feel free to reach out to me. I know Jimmy has a lot on his plate, and I'm happy to take anything off of it that I can. So that's it.
Thank you very much. And I cannot emphasize enough, folks, if you're running a business, I mean, part of that business is partnering with us. The director's desk will give you 95% of what you need to know now, upcoming, and in the past. And if you've missed it, there is a link on the website that has the history of it. Is that under, Kim, help me, director's page? I think that's right.
That's right.
Yes. So we'll probably, I'm not sure if it's up yet, but it will be up very soon for this year's one. So you new clubs need to go back and read those. Probably a 5 to 10 minute read, but it's critical that you have that stuff. Okay. Kim, while you're there, stay up just a second. You're really next. Let me mention in the director's desk, we've added a few little bits of information. We keep improving it every year. We've added a date section of things coming up in the future that either is related to the region or really ideas or suggestions for clubs that you need to consider with the dates and stuff. And then we have a quick link section also. Under F, our next part of the agenda is region contacts. Literally a century ago when I started this, it was a volunteer position. And it was me doing from janitor to running the whole ball of wax. And that was the way it was for years. But now, I'm not even sure how many staff we have, probably a dozen or so, but Kim is an integral part of the region. She runs the website and is over our tournament, all of our tournaments. Kim, you want to say anything? We're going to cover a bunch of tournaments here in a minute, but you want to say anything about the website or anything?
Yeah, I'll just say in general, club directors, if you ever see anything on the website, especially like your club directory, if that information's incorrect, things like that, please let me know. I can't fix it unless I know about it. So if you have anything like that, or you feel like something's missing on the website, or you can't find something, just let me know. I'm happy to help.
And while she's speaking of that, I'd like for you to do two things. Homework is one, do check the club directory, because a lot of new parents go in there and look at that. Make sure that we have your website if you have one. If not, maybe a Facebook page. What I'd like for you to do now in the chat room is put your club name, and I would assume almost everybody has a Facebook page. Put your address for your Facebook page on there. And if you have any information you'd like for us to share, we'll be glad to do that. Jennifer handles our social media. I don't think she's on today. Are you, Jennifer? I don't believe you are. Anyway, thank you, Kim. Kirsten, of course, does memberships and official clinics, as she just said. General questions can come to Julie first, and then me. If it's specific or club related or anything like that, obviously get in touch with me. Board members you've heard from, but if you want to correspond with any of these, their email addresses is the best way. A few of our staff will accept text, and we'll put that up on our contact information. But all I'd say is text them during business hours, including myself, and a phone call. I've said this several times. I have long days. I get up at 5 and I'm usually in bed not too much after dark because I get up so early. So telephone calls at 8, 9, and 10 or 11 o'clock is not appreciated. So shoot me a text or an email, and then I'll get with you the next day. Region deals. Again, in the chat, put your Facebook pages. We want to make sure we like that and share stuff with you guys. Richard Scott, are you online with Baden? He may not be. Okay, I'll just say this. I'm not sure if it's online. If it's not, we'll get it online and get some information out, but they really have a great deal. And what we try to do is sign wholesale contracts with several companies and then just pass the cost, whatever it is, along to you guys so that you have savings. I want to thank, this is off the top of my head, but I want to thank the Baden composite ball is in the $20 or $21 range. And you can get those with your name on it if it's done so far in advance. Again, I was hoping he was going to be online to give you that information. But if you're interested, get in touch with us and we'll get you the information. Hopefully we'll try to get that information out in this week's director's desk. Couple of things. I've got probably 100 or so jerseys in the very small sizes that I'm donating to a club. If you can just say, I've got this program and I plan to use it. They're Mizuno jerseys in different colors. And all I need is a reason that you're going to use it and some proof that you did use it. Our region also has some miscellaneous, between the region and me, I've had some left over from Club South, but have just some miscellaneous O's. We've sold our standards. And Eric with Magnum also has some sport court, some standards, and portable, the steel floor plates. So if you're looking for those or need them, we'll keep those in our director's desk also for questions. Parent assistant program, we're discontinuing that and that ESP program for 2021. Just it did not do what we was hoping for last year, and we've just discontinued it, and we'll spend that money elsewhere. There is a section on our website, think under PVA jobs listed. Right now, we've got a part-time position for gate ticket sales. You can see that under that on the website is the description of what it is and how to remit for it. Again, if you've got any questions along the way we're asking you to do is stick it in the chat room. Julie will pick it up and then let us know the question, and we'll try to answer it for you. Okay. We had, let's see. Oh, I think Kirsten mentioned this, but you need to understand is the player under Sports Engine, you have to get them associated with your club after they sign a commitment. So tryouts are exactly the same as they have been, with the exception of the dates that we have online. But just the only difference in Sports Engine and WebPoint is that you have to now invite them to join your club or associate with your club. And more of that information will be coming out as we get closer to tryouts. Club player contracts. I'm not going to read through all this. You guys can read it, the things that you need to have in the contract. What I want to emphasize different this year is that you need to have a definition. I'm going to call it a COVID refund policy, explaining to people what if we have to stop. Now I can tell you now that coming from the national office, Jamie, who's the CEO, said we have no plans to cancel like they did last year, where they would not allow us to have any activities and no insurance. He said we have no plans. We're leaving that up to each state. So barring that the state doesn't close us down, our tournaments don't cancel, but you need to have that itemized in your player-parent contract and get that out to them before they sign a contract, at least a sample one, so that they understand here's what this club will do. Not only that, but what your safety protocol will be in practices. We have a COVID page on our website that gives you ideas. We're not going to tell you what to do, but you need to follow what the state recommendations are. All right, we're in K. And that L is just following safety guidelines. Again, I would refer you to our website where we have guidelines on it. Raphael, are you on here somewhere? Put another face with a name.
Yes, sir, I am. Hold on a second. Let me open my there you go.
There you go. Real person. This is Raphael. He started with us last year and is over our high performance. He organizes that. We were extremely excited with the interest that we had last year. We just had one tryout, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, one tryout before we got canned. But I think we had like 150 kids, didn't we?
167.
Yeah, it was a bunch for the first one. But I'm going to turn it over to him. He'll have a few minutes explaining high performance. We highly, highly recommend you get your top kids to try out for this, because there'll be a subsidized camp with some quality coaches. Majority of those will be college coaches in the summer. So anyway, Raphael.
All righty. Good evening, folks. Once again, my name is Rafael Salazar, and I am the director for the Regional HP program. We're going to have 2 tryouts this year. The first one is going to be Friday, January 22nd, 6:30 to 9:30 at Rock Hill. And then Friday, February 19th, 6:30 to 9:30 at Myrtle Beach at the Sports Center. We're going to have probably 2 one-day camps in the summer. And those ones we're just going to see later on where and when are we going to have them. The registration is going to be open pretty soon for that. Any questions? I'm going to put my information here on the chat so you guys can get it. But any question, just send it directly to me, and then we can send them there. Like Jimmy said, this is an awesome opportunity for the high caliber kids that you have in each one of the clubs. They're competing and trying out and doing camps with kids at the same caliber would really increase their game level, shall we say. But let me cut it like that, and I'm going to put all my information on the chat.
Yes. And if you have questions, there's additional information in the agenda that you can read. But if you have questions for Rafael, put it in the chat or contact him directly. We'll be getting more information as we go. We probably will also do a tryout during regionals, but we'll know that as we get a little bit closer to time into the season. Again, I can't emphasize enough, we really are putting in money. We're investing money in our top 20% of the kids. So we hope that you'll encourage them to get involved. It will be a non-biased, we're not emphasizing clubs, we're emphasizing training for these kids, and then they come back to you guys. So, all right. Miss Sue Dillon, you are up for beach and outdoor.
Okay, I'll make it brief. I know Jimmy attached my flyer to this agenda, so if you want to look through that, I'll just go over the major points. We really I had everything we worked out last season. We had a really good schedule planned out. I've been working with different people in different cities to have different ages, and then COVID happened. So we are going to try and start all over again. And the good thing is I've already made the contacts, and the way it's going to work is I'm basically going to head it up and delegate to different cities each weekend, different age groups. We'll do sand and grass. The USAV memberships will go through to the end until October, so they'll be covered for the summer if they play indoor. And your indoor players can play outdoor. It's not going to be either or. I'm going to make sure that over the spring and the summer that we try not to conflict with the bigger indoor tournaments, because myself, I have a lot of players that play those bigger indoor, and we still want them to do outdoor. So we're going to get involved with the USAV Beach, the National Beach Series, and I'll be working with USC again to hopefully have at least one regional qualifier or maybe a national qualifier. And then the rest will just be little tournaments in different cities, different age groups. But they'll also be able to earn points. If they decide to do the USAV Beach Series, we'll help them get involved, and they can get points for each tournament to help them qualify for the Beach Nationals. Or if your girls just want to play in the series, that just makes them get better. So it's not like if they play, they have to go to nationals. It's basically just trying to get the girls and boys to play the outdoor game, because it makes them such better players, and to help them realize that that's another great opportunity for college, because the college beach game is growing immensely. So we had it pretty well organized and ready to go last year. I'm hoping it should get up and running a little bit easier this year because we have the same contacts. And I really hope to have a schedule, at least tentative, by the end of January. But of course, it is going to depend on the outdoor people getting their tournaments together. But normally, most of us work together to have that done by January. And again, I really like to encourage all of you to try to get your players to play at least one or two or more, because it's only going to add to their abilities, and they'll just become better players. We're not trying to take any players from any indoor play, because like I said, I love both. I do the indoor and outdoor, and we're going to work around the bigger indoor tournaments so that we can have, and it's a very short season. I think it's going to run from the first weekend of May to the end of July. So it's a very short season. And we'll have different ages in different cities. Like I said, I'll try to have that published by the end of January. If you have any questions about outdoor or beach, please contact me, and I'll put my contact information in the chat. And if you read the flyer, it'll tell you most of the things you'll need to know that I didn't speak of. I just don't want to take up a lot of time and read the whole flyer when it's there for you to read for yourself. but I'm excited and I hope it works out well. And Wheeler Beach at USC was very open to us running a bigger tournament there. And if anybody knows of a facility, Wheeler Beach has 5 sand courts, really nice state-of-the-art facility. If anybody else knows of a big facility, I know there's one in Charleston at the Mexican Bar, which is, but just let me know if you're interested in hosting a different age group. I need more, the more the merrier. It can be either sand or grass. Some weekends will be beach and some will be grass. So feel free to reach out if you have any questions, and I will put my contact information in the chat. Thank you.
Hey, Sue.
Yes.
This year, some of the kids had to get that AVP America membership. Is that anything at all with the tournament schedule that you put out, or is that simply for anything outside of the region?
That has nothing to do. What I'm doing is a beach series that basically just covers all the tournaments that they play in. And I'm getting a system where we can get points from how they do at each of these tournaments, but each tournament is run differently. My suggestion with the AVP America, it's only a $10 or $15. If they're going to play a lot, if they're going to play a lot during the summer, I say go ahead and get it at the beginning of the season, because that covers you for the whole season. And I think that's like G Vegas and who else? Chucktown. I'm not sure who else has that, but that's separate. That's for each different tournament. There's they won't have any fee with USAV, because if they play indoor, they're covered already.
Okay.
And then I think
indoor.
I'm sorry.
Sorry. If they don't play indoor, how much is that outdoor?
I was just going to say, I think Jimmy said there's a discounted USAV fee of $15. Is that right, Jimmy?
Yeah.
Just for the summer. Yeah, they'll get a summer membership.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And guys, our beach and outdoors kind of been off and on for a number of years. This is one area that we really need to take advantage of. It's a great way to get kids, get their feet wet in a very inexpensive way. So I hope you'll take advantage of it. You'll see more information as the season goes on. If you have questions, ask Sue. Okay, the smartest guy in the region is coming up next, Lance. He has put together, he handles our rankings and seedings, and I still don't understand it. So Lance, all you, baby.
Well, I was going to say thank you for all the kind words earlier, but now I feel like I've been set up. But no, it's great to have been able to turn over the region, the board, to such capable leadership, and especially in such trying times as we've been having. There's not really a whole lot to say on the ranking and seating this year. We're not making any significant changes. If you have any thoughts about impacts of the way that we're running our tournaments this year that you think need to be addressed, please let me know. The biggest thing is for the hosts, just making sure that everything is closed out in AES as you finish running your tournament, so that we can get a quick turnaround on the rankings and seedings and get everything out for the next tournament up a couple weeks later. That's kind of the first step in getting all the tournament information out. So we don't want to be a long pole in the tent. That's all I got, Jimmy.
Thank you, Lance. And I'll compliment him, really. He put together a seeding and ranking program that we've used for how many years, Lance? 5, 6?
Something like that, 5, 6, 7, yeah.
Yeah, and it has worked so well that I referred him on to the national office that they've talked to him. I don't know whether they're using it or not, but it's really a good program. Not sure how it works, but it works well. Thank you, Lance. All right, folks. P, under the agenda, required items that you need to post in your material or website for 21. That's going to be really important, and that's the tryout details with region links. And make sure what we've changed this year is the multiple tryout form. It's online. Hopefully you've looked at it so far. And on the, I think on the new agenda, I actually showed a picture of it, but there's under tryouts, there is a link. I believe it is. Kim, remind me where that link is that the directors can look at who has signed up.
The page where directors will be able to see who filled out the multi-tryout form is under the club director section. So
Okay.
there's one there, and that will only show the players' names and I believe age group and what clubs they're trying out for.
And to get onto that page, do they need a code?
They just need to be logged into their account, their club director account.
Okay. And folks, that is already populated. It automatically populates as a player completes the form. So you see the player, right now it's sorted by age, but you can sort those columns, right, Kim? So you can sort by name if you want to. But it will show the name, the age, and then what clubs they're trying out for and what club they played for this past season. So you can look at that now. Let me apologize if you see me eating. That's my lunch that I'm just now getting around to. So I'm gonna trying to do that as we go along. Also publish your club COVID safety precautions for your practices and your refund policy. That needs to be up. I can tell you in the numerous national meetings that I've had with USAV and others is that if a suit comes along, typically the courts look at what precautions you have taken into account. If you have none published and you just kind of run it off the cuff, you're gonna probably be in bad shape. But if you've had them, you're doing everything that you can do, you're pretty much protected legally. And then make sure that you explain to juniors what they've got to do. They got to purchase a tryout membership. They should show you their card while entering, which we talked about earlier. Once they accept a club, they will upgrade their membership and then you will accept them. So they'll upgrade to a full membership. Q, okay. Let's do a couple of quick surveys. If you guys will go back to your poll everywhere, and let me switch over to it. Sorry, shouldn't be having to do this. All right, here we go. There's a couple of things we want your feedback on. Format options of tournaments. The first one, we've got a tentative plan based on survey results from parents, is about whether to run a half-a-day event in your local areas, like run one down in Charleston, one in the middle state, one in the upstate, maybe, in the beach area or Augusta area. So we want to find out, do you want that or do you prefer a full day event and just go wherever it's located in the state? So fill that out pretty quickly if you would. And then the second one also. The second one has to do with, let me explain that, is that we already know, as you probably know, facilities are limited, very limited. Some of the schools are frankly saying no right now. We don't know if they'll open up or not. But if they don't, that means that we're going to have to use the facilities that we can get into on both Saturday and Sunday and just run different age divisions. So hypothetically, if that is the case, we would take facility A and run the young division on Saturday and the older division on Sunday. And then the next time we do it, we'd flip-flop. The older ones would be on Saturday and the younger ones on Sunday. But that's going to be through this year until we figure out if we can get enough facilities. It's either that or cancel an event or cancel a age division. It's just, we're limited this year with what we can do. So if you would complete that, we'd like to have your feedback. Looks like in the first one that you'd like to have just a full day tournament. And if that's the case, we'll change that with the host and make that happen. And then the second one, thank you very much. I hope you understand, and I think parents will understand, is that it's just simply limited. And I'll use an example of either Lance or Jerry and Cynthia, who run big single-day tournaments. I'm sure their facilities are limited, and so they may be able to get into 7 facilities instead of 10 or 12. And those 7, we may have to run Saturday and Sunday in order to make the divisions work. Okay. Let's take a 2-minute break before we get into tournaments, because that's going to be pretty lengthy and detailed. Kim and I will do that. So if you guys need to do a potty break real quick or grab a drink, 2 minutes. I'm showing 5:18. We'll start back at 5:20. Okay, folks, let me get on to here. And Kim's going to start this. Tournaments is going to be different, everybody. And we have been talking as a board, talking to different tournament. We've had host meetings. I've talked to different regions all over the summer. And this is what we're going to do. This is our best case scenario, barring the state shuts us down. So anyway, Kim, you want to get us started?
Sure, I'll just kind of go through this, and I believe Jimmy has sent this out to everyone already, so you should be able to read through it in detail and let us know if you have any feedback. Once we get this finalized, we will be posting it on the website and sending it out to players and parents. We want to make sure this is really visible this year so that everyone knows what to expect before they get to a tournament, so that our hosts don't have to deal with all the, oh, I didn't know I had to wear a mask, or I didn't know, you know, we had to buy a ticket ahead of time, or things like that. So as Jimmy mentioned, we are expecting to be very limited on facilities. We are going to be using Rock Hill and some of the other larger facilities as much as they are available, because we know that we can get into them. So that's one change that you can expect to see this year. Before events, we are going to be doing pre-sales of tickets. We have not worked out all the details on how this will be handled, but we think it will be similar to what we do for regionals, where clubs or teams will turn in ticket orders as a team or as a club, and then they will be mailed to the club in advance. What is going to be a little bit different is that each tournament will likely have different limits on tickets. So, you know, for a Rock Hill type facility, we might be able to offer 25 or 30 tickets per team. For, you know, a single day high school location, we might only be able to offer 15 per team. And that's just going to depend on what the capacity is of that specific facility. So we're working on gathering that information now so that we can make sure we know how many people will be allowed in the facility.
Let me mention this, Kim, and folks, we're going to try to have this information well in advance hopefully before tryouts are over and before you start making decisions on which tournaments you're going to attend, because we already know that the parents certainly one of them want to go see their kid, if not both of them. We're hoping we can have 2 per player in some of the smaller facilities that have the tighter capacities, but we're asking our hosts to get from the facility what their capacity is so that we can determine how many spectators can come in per team.
And I want to say too, so everyone knows, our other goal in doing this is that we really want to reduce the face-to-face contact at the tournaments. So we don't want to have parents walk up and hand over cash and people handling that and having to do that every week. So we will not have any walk-up ticket sales, and we really just want to try to reduce that face-to-face contact. So by sending, pre-ordering and sending out wristbands or whatever it is that we decide to use, we hope that it will really help the flow of those tournament days, so people can just walk in, show their wristband. We don't have to stop and talk to everybody and have that face-to-face.
And I think it's down in below it, but the adults that are on a roster, we may limit that to 5 adults, but they'll have to show their membership card and a photo ID, and then that's all they need. Players will just be in with their uniform, and for planning purposes, we're averaging, we're assuming there's going to be 15 per team.
And we're still working out, like I said, still working out the details of how this will work, but we do expect too that if, for instance, we say each team can have 25 tickets that they can sell. If your team doesn't use all those, we want to be able to shift those to somebody else too. So we are working out a system for that where we can, just move them to another team or another club if your club is not going to use all the ones that are allocated to you. Yeah. We do expect the prices to stay the same as what we've had in the past. So we think that for the smaller venues, single day, adult will still be $5. We will not have a charge for children, but we will need to still include children in the ticket count. So you will still be asked how many children will be attending because they count as spectators. So they're going to count towards that limit at whatever facility you're at. For the larger facilities like Rock Hill, we've got tentatively single day tournaments as $10 for adults and $5 for children. And then if it's a 2 or 3 day, it'll be similar to what it's been in the past, $15 for an adult weekend or $25 if it's 3 day. So pretty similar to what we've had. The only one that's really different is the single day at the larger facility. Moving up, and that's really just because of the cost of those facilities. We've got to help our hosts cover those costs.
And understand all the hosts are going to have increased costs this year due to the staff they're going to have to put on to keep up with COVID restrictions and safety precautions.
Yep. And then the next part, we'll make sure that everyone understands they should stay home if they're sick. We're using the magic number that I've seen a lot of organizations use is 100.3 for a fever. And, if they've had contact with anyone or showing symptoms, all that kind of stuff, we're going to ask them to stay home. And we're going to make sure too that our facilities and hosts have the cleaning materials that they need, but we're also encouraging parents to bring their own hand sanitizer, cleaning wipes, things like that. So during the event, we are going to require masks for everyone in the facility except for players who are participating in the match. So that means all the spectators, coaches, tournament officials, all that, they need to be wearing a mask. Players, if they're not on the court, will have to be wearing a mask as well. Anyone that does not want to do it will not be allowed in the facility. So we will be asking those people to leave. Everybody needs to have their own water bottle marked with names. A lot of facilities are turning off water fountains right now, so we need to just kind of be prepared for that. Make sure, parents know they better bring a cooler with a bunch of water in it if they want to be sure that their kid has water. No handshakes, high fives, or huddles. Basically, no close contact. We'll be changing our pregame a little bit, so we won't have the teams coming together at the net before or after the match. We're gonna have 2 volleyballs per court. Each match, the R1 will be cleaning that volleyball, and then you'll switch to the other one. Let's see. Spectators, we're asking to maintain 6 feet distancing at all times. Unless they're a family, then they can sit together, but they should distance from other families. Because we're going to have limitations on the number of spectators, we do want teams to encourage you to have one parent who may come in and video the match and use, Facebook Live or whatever system you want to use, so that other people who are not there can watch it. And this is a different one this year. We are asking the work team to bring their own supplies, so pens, pencils, that kind of stuff. And then we'll make sure that we have wipes to clean the table between matches.
I'll take this, Court. So as Kim said, now we'll put this into a document that you guys can put on your websites, but this is critical that every player, every parent gets this information, because it's going to be a change due to COVID. So make sure they have this information, post it where you need to, and make sure your coaches know to cover it with their teams at their team meetings. This is the new court match protocol. In short, the only people in the court area will be the 2 playing teams, 1 person from the off team, and only the required members of the working team. So we're going to try to have, it'll either be 3 or 4 team pools. There will not be a 5-team pool scheduled. In the last year, when we had a team in a wait, we actually made some 5-team pools in order to get them in. But unfortunately this year, we're going to limit that just due to maximum capacity rules. So the first scheduled match of the day, whether it's a full day, single day, or in a wave, the first scheduled match, players and adult staff are not allowed inside the facility until 30 minutes before their scheduled time, so they can go in then. And of course, if it's a multi-day event, they may even start a little bit early, but that's the first scheduled match. Parents and spectators cannot enter the first match until 15 minutes before the start of their first scheduled match. The off team cannot come in at all on the first match. They have to stay either in a assigned location that they can keep social distance, or either outside somewhere, or in their car, stay in a car. And the work team course will just be whoever is assigned to work the match. And we're requiring that teams require that whoever works their match works the entire match. So there won't be replacements in the one match. You can replace them in the second or third match, but not in the same one.
Jimmy, we've got a few questions in the chat, a lot of which we've been able to answer, but I just want to make you aware of some of them. They're wondering if is it safe to say that there's going to be an average of 2 tickets per player? But I said we won't know that until we get the capacity for each tournament. For the larger ones, we can say probably yes, but for the smaller ones, we have to wait. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I don't think you could even estimate it at this point. We're the only ones that we have received detailed capacity amounts has been Rock Hill. And Kim, help me, but I think that was about 40, it was mid 30s or high 30s per team and spectators. Am I remembering right?
Yeah, that's correct. So that does not include the players. That is purely for
correct.
spectators.
That's in addition to the playing team. So that's a pretty high number. And in actuality, from looking at last year's, if you look at the gate sale tickets, it's about on the average. Now that last year we didn't count kids, so that may be a problem. Kim, take this for a second because I'm about to run out of battery and I'm going to be off the whole thing.
Kim, one more question, then maybe you can help with this. Tom was concerned. He said, so parents with last minute work schedule changes won't be able to get last minute tickets. How far in advance are we looking at selling these tickets? Probably 3 to 3 weeks-ish, I'm
Yeah, I
thinking.
think we're aiming for 2 to 3 weeks. So in that case, Tom, I would suggest if you want to purchase a couple extra for your club, if you know that happens a lot, you could do that and then, give those to those parents if they become available. But outside of that, the answer is pretty much no. We're going to have to plan in advance because we have these capacity limitations.
Now, I'll say this, there's a lot of moving parts for this and it changes a lot. So, I mean, it's possible that we can put out, we'll use Rock Hill, for example. Let's say that currently their maximum capacity is 3,000. So let's say that that's what we go with, we publish that, and then, COVID numbers go way up and Rock Hill or the state cuts that capacity down, we'll have to adhere to that, but that's outside of our control. We're hoping that it stays with that. It may even, our hopes is this vaccine comes out pretty early and things lighten up some, but our goal currently is to have the information out before you make decisions on facilities as we know it today. And then we want to place orders 3 weeks in advance for your teams. What we're thinking, like Kim said, is we probably will have kind of a site online that says, if you've got extra tickets, you can post it here and another team can pick it up, but they're going to have to deal with you guys directly. I doubt the region's going to do that. It's just too much logistical work. So we're going to work out the details on that, but that's hypothetically what we're talking about doing.
Okay, a couple more things before we move on. Sorry, Gwen wanted to know what the region notification policy would be if someone on a team at an event or a spectator reports a positive COVID-19 test after the event. Because they're pre-ordering tickets, we'll probably be able to have contact tracing pretty much in place. Would that be?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to try to have contact tracing as best as possible, which will be notified, but we're still working on some details on that.
Okay. And then Gidget wants to know what the tournament fee refund policy would be if a tournament has to be canceled due to exposure or quarantine.
And that information's actually, we're going to cover a little bit later, but we will, in short, we'll have our normal refund policy if it's non-COVID related, but if it's COVID related and you can show that you've got somebody that's had positive testing, we will refund 100% is our goal.
And I'm sure that tickets as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else, Julie?
That's all for now.
Okay, so going on during the day, the off team should designate one person that will actually stay on the court, and they'll be kind of the team communication coordinator. So they will text the team to say, okay, here's when you can come in. And we're basically saying within 10 points of the deciding game. Now, we obviously know if the game's tight on the second game, you just don't know. So we let them come on in, but just don't crowd around the court. If they play a third game, they play it, but we just don't want them, sitting right on the side of the court. And then that coordinator would allow parents and spectators to come in once warm-ups begin. So they'll contact them via text, and they can come in. That's pretty much a standard. What we're saying is come in once the warm-ups begin on your teams for the spectators and parents. there will be a violation. And if this is abused, it'll be a 5-point penalty to the team on the first offense and a forfeit of the first game on the second offense. So it's serious, and we hope everybody will take it serious. It doesn't take but a couple of teams trying to push the envelope, or parents trying to push the envelope, that's going to make the whole season bad. So we're having a season, and we hope to stand by that, but we're going to need everybody all in on this. We've got to have everybody's support and make sure that the parents know it. On the work team, we will have just the designated workers on the court. And we would prefer the coach or the head coach to be at the court, and they can either serve as one of the workers or be the supervisor. And they will also serve as the team communication coordinator for the rest of the team to come back at the appropriate time for the players. And then they would also communicate with the parents when they start warm up so that they can come back in. We mentioned earlier is that we need for each team to have an R1 certified official, because it's a real possibility that we'll be short on officials this year with the events that are going on and all the college volleyball that will be going on in the spring. What we are asking, and we'll have a little poll on it later. We've done some research on viewing matches. For example, my grandson's out in Colorado, and he's soccer. They only allow one parent on the field, which is kind of crazy outdoor, but they only allow one parent on the field, and then they require that each team do a Facebook Live showings of the match. So we're going to ask that you do that, so that the grandparents or people that, even out of state or out of the city or can't come, or maybe one of the parents, cannot get a ticket, they can watch it via social media, Facebook Live. And if we have both teams doing that, then you probably get a better view, because like when I'm watching my grandson, it's one person doing it, and it's kind of hard to follow that, that one team, but they would get more of their side of the team. So we ask that you do try to plan for that. We have looked into a paid service. There's, I think it's Ball TV, and we'll do a survey on it. I'd be interested to see how you think about it, but I thought the premium was kind of pricey for parent. They don't charge us, but they charge the parents to view it. So we'll look at that and talk about it, but I think this will be probably the best route, but it's free. Food tables, current plans will allow food tables if the facility allows it, but they have to be individually packaged. In other words, sandwiches have to be wrapped individually. If it's potato salad, then they need to be inside a little container wrapped individually. No communal bowls or shared trays and stuff like that. Teams need to social distance as much as possible. I would say, if weather permitting, even if they have an indoor place, try to set up outside. Somebody on your team will probably have a tent, 10 by 10 tent. All right, let me stop there. Any questions, Julie, through?
No, sir, no new ones. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Hold on. Mine just refreshed. Let's see. Will Wi-Fi access be made available for persons volunteering to stream?
Well, if it's available through the facility, it will be. Now, we all know that some facilities are sketchy, so that's going to be our downfall.
And then will the teams playing stay on their side once the match starts, as high school teams are doing now? They're not switching sides.
That's a Louise question. I think if they do switch, they rotate in a clockwise position so they don't go side by side. But that'll be his question and how they call that. I didn't know high school was doing that.
Yeah, they're just staying on the same side.
Okay. So our refund policy will be a normal refund policy for non-COVID withdrawals. For COVID withdrawals, it's basically 100%. The regional will refund, but we require that you provide us with a test that shows that you actually have positive test results from somebody on the team, and notify the region. I'm not sure if that'll just be by email or if Kim will create a form online that we actually do that so that we can post that. It might be something online so that everybody will have access to it immediately. Kim, anything so far? Have I missed anything?
No, I think that's good. And we will put all this together in a document, send it out to everybody, post it on the website as soon as we get all these little details finalized.
Yeah. That's a lot. We're toward the end. So let me make sure that if anybody has any questions on these tournaments, because this part's critical that we get it right and that it's communicated to parents. We'll send out information, but again, keep in mind the only people that we're probably reaching are members from last year. We will not have access. You guys will. You'll have access to, I'm assuming most of you have kids register through your club if they're going to come try out with you. So we would ask that if we pass information along, that you pass that information along to everybody on your email list. Some of them may get it twice, but it'd be better to get it twice and not know it, and then them come back and say, oh, I wouldn't have joined had I known this, X, Y, or Z. All right. Let's do another game. Give me 1 second. Let this person in. All right, go back to your poll everywhere. Here. This will be for a prize, top 3, and it's region trivia. So here we go. This one's 20 seconds. I meant to cut it down to 15. All right, 1988 is correct, and quite a few people got it. Here's your leaderboard. All right. And what a huge difference it made for us to go from individual facilities to one facility. Huge difference. Oh, a lot of you missed it, 2011. Leaderboard. Great job. All right. The trivia that we just covered. And cut it off early. Here we go. Very good. You remember, your retention is good. Tracy. Very good. Very good. Seaside staying on top. That top 3, tied for 3rd. And I'm giving you only 5 seconds for this one. 2, 1. I hope you read it.
What?
Remember to mute yourself, please.
Yeah. That ain't good happen. Yeah. Getting dark early. Yeah.
Please mute yourself if somebody's not muted. Great question. Here's some changes. See who changes at the top. Staying on top. All right. And then I think this is the last question. Somebody's got their microphone on and flushing the toilet. All right, let's see what it was. We had 5,200 and change members. And I think that's, let me see if there was any more. Julie, take note of that. Oh, got one more. And cutting it off now. There's Low Country. And there we go. Katie, Seaside, and Larry, congratulations. Julie will get that information and we will send you a goodie later. All right.
Jimmy, we had a question about one of those questions. I think it was the one about tryout requirements. And there was an answer about requiring players to come to 100% of tryouts. That's false, right?
A question concerning that?
Yeah, can you go back to that question? Can you show that?
Yeah, I can't go back to that particular one, but I can address it. That should be part of the tryout rules, saying that you cannot require a person to come to 100% of your tryouts. Okay. You can ask them to. What we ask everybody to do is certainly work with your neighbors. Try to avoid head-to-head, same time, same day, same age. Now, I've been doing this for almost a little over 20 years, and there's some of you on this line today that plays games. But let's be fair. Play good in the sandbox and don't try to force players to make a decision. If it comes down to who gets priority over what date time, it would be whoever's had the most seniority as far as years operating, is the way the club looks at it. All right, let me switch back. Can y'all see that, or have you got this up? Or did I take off sharing screen? Everybody see this?
No, we
not. Okay, hang on a sec.
What are you trying to show?
The agenda. I may have not shared. Here we go. All right. Now we got it. Kim, can you cover club and team tournament registration?
Sure. Yeah. Right now we've got tournament registration scheduled to open November 1st in AES. We are working hard to get all the information loaded in AES and then also building out the tournament pages on our website with as much information as we can. One thing that is going to be different this year in AES registration is we are going to require you to enter a roster for your team in order to be accepted into the tournament. So you don't have to enter it when you register. You can register without a roster, but you will have to enter a roster in order for us to accept your team into the tournament. The main reason for this is because we want to make sure that we have contact information for your coaches. So that way, when we're sending out information about, facility requirements or tickets or whatever it may be, we're getting that to as many people as we can. So that's going to be a change this year. It should be fairly minimal work for you guys because AES will link with Sports Engine. So you should be able to just transfer your rosters over. That's the idea. Nobody's seen it in action yet, so we'll see what happens. But it should be relatively easy for you. And that's the reason we're doing it, is we want to have as much contact information as we can. And then it'll also help us on the back end with contract tracing too. If something does happen at a tournament, we've got all that information already, and we can communicate with everyone.
Thank you. Just a couple more things. We encourage you guys, most of you should know that the rules and regulations are in our handbook that's posted online. Last year, we went through that in detail with the board, and we separated any rules that had penalties and put them first. There was only a handful of those. I will say that we'll continue to evaluate this. There's 40 regions in the United States. Probably half of those now have almost eliminated rules and I put it this way, let clubs play in the wild, wild west, and whoever the strongest is survives. We've talked about that a number of times. The last survey we took of you guys, you wanted to keep it the way it was. We're going to assume that, but if you've got strong comments, email me. Here's the details, the dates of the Rock Hill Championships. More on that later. The only thing to note here is that the Big South qualifier has a direct conflict with our second week. So we moved the ages around with the older ages on the first week and the younger ages in the second week. We hope that you'll consider that, and also consider if you do send them and you want your kids, the younger kids, to come to the championships in Rock Hill for the second week, is maybe consider the Orlando National Qualifier called the Sunshine National Qualifier, and that information's in the packet that we sent out. So consider that. We'll get more details out on that, along with the hotel reservation plan. If you remember, for the championships, that is a true state of play, and we release the reservation links by club, and we've got that from last year, so it will stay the same as it was going to be last year with your rank wherever you were, and we'll just send that out.
Jimmy, I have a question.
Yep.
In regard to tournament registration, I know you guys want to know as soon as possible who is playing in what tournament. You've done that survey already, and Kim mentioned that registration would open up on November 1st. In previous years, you have determined the cutoff based on who has not only registered but also paid. But you've said that you don't want people to pay right away because, so how are we going to work that?
And guys, this might be the most important part of tournaments, is we have got to know who of you want to attend what tournament ASAP. And when I say ASAP, I mean as soon as your teams are done. Hopefully you would already kind of know what tournaments you want to attend. Of course, you wouldn't know that until you do exactly how many teams you're going to have, but you should probably pretty much know which ones you want to attend. Is get them in the system early, and that could be mid to late November, no later than early December. And I say, and I think Kim will back me up, it's really important that you register them with or without a payment. Early on, a lot of you don't have the money, and that's fine, because more important to us and our host is how many teams are coming to what event, so that we can determine early, so we notify you whether that host has enough room to satisfy that. And priority decision will be initially based on registration date and then payment if it's made. But this year is going to be critical because of the lack of facilities, we're assuming. So we're urging you is to get your teams registered early so that we know numbers. And then if it's close to full, we'll let you know so that you can go ahead and get in and pay a particular tournament. If it's full, it's going to be looked at as who registered first, what date they registered, and then what date they paid. But we'll keep you notified very often on this information in November and December when you know teams. Does that make sense?
It does, but I guess I'm a little bit confused because in an earlier meeting you had mentioned that we may want to consider restructuring our payment plans and doing it more on a month-to-month basis based on the tournaments and their entry fees, because we didn't want us too far in advance to worry about refunds. So I guess I just want to make sure I get my ducks in a row.
Well, I said that so that you won't have to get into, if you're planning on, I hope you are, if you're planning on refunding your members whatever you assume for them on the tournament, then I don't think it's not a big deal. You just refund it. But what I was saying is you might, and of course we'll know this as we get closer, but you got to have your fees out pretty soon. Is that, some regions, and I get this nationally, some regions are doing a basic fee for parents, and then they charge per tournament because they don't know whether that tournament's going to operate or not. So they charge it once they get closer to the tournament, they charge it. But that kind of ties your hands of not having income come in. So that's really a decision that you guys have to decide. I doubt there's too many teams with a high cash flow that can afford to pay them up front without money coming in soon. Hope that helps a little bit. It's going to be a stressful year and an unusual year. And I'm just praying that we're over this thing sometime before we get finished with the vaccine out, and it's a lot better news. So all I'm asking is, the bottom line is register early, and you're going to hear that from us. It's critical that we know so that we can find out from our hosts whether they've got enough facilities. And if they don't, we need to tell you. And you need to know early so you can plan for either another event. And I do say this, if you're going outside the region, you make sure you find out what their refund policy is. That should be notified before you sign on the dotted line. Let me see if I can share this.
Jimmy, can I add something really quick on the team acceptances? I just want to reiterate that we will be requiring rosters for acceptance in AES too. So, for example, if we have two teams that have registered at the same time and they've both paid, but one has a roster loaded and one doesn't, we're going to accept that team that has the roster over the team that doesn't have it, because we want to make sure we have that contact info.
Got it. That's very good. Yeah, we definitely, because we need to, it's very possible that we could have some facility cancel on us inside of hours or days or a week. So we need to be able to get information out to everybody very quickly. As you can see right here, we've had Art of Coaching, probably the top training clinic and access of information in the United States. We've had it for 4 or 5 years. The region subsidizes most of that cost. Again, I was a little disappointed in several things. We got them to some coaches and they didn't activate it. So again, it looks like that you want to do it. So with that in mind, that's all we really need to know is if you want to do it again this year, we'll pay the difference. I think it's, if a coach signed up, it's either 75 or 80 bucks for the year to access their online learning stuff and clinics and videos and all that. But we'll pay that difference. You just guys will pay $10 a coach. All right. Thank you for filling that out.
Jimmy, a couple more questions. Sorry. Tina wanted to know if there's a COVID clause included in the insurance information that we provide to our gym facilities for practices, or do we as a club need to provide something individually for the facilities so they're not liable?
It is a no. There's not an insurance policy that we're aware of or USAV is aware of that covers pandemics, period.
Okay, thank you.
Facilities will know the same thing. Their insurance carriers will be telling them the same thing. So there's not one. All you can do, and we've discussed this, or I have discussed this from a national level in detail, is make sure that you're doing everything you can at your practice facility to cover your bases, and the host will have to do the same thing. The hosts have to do the things that we require. We're not requiring this to the clubs, but you're on the hook if somebody sues, because you need to have your bases covered. Anything else, Julie?
No, thank you. Or no.
Okay, guys, just finishing up, we have an Al Stern Memorial Scholarship. I don't read through this. You guys can read it. It's online. Applications open. We have $5,000 dedicated. We give up to $500 awards per individual. They have to fill out an application and send it out, and we'll have that online, and it opens up on the 1st and closes on the 15th, and we'll announce it by January 15th. This is the beach information that Sue put out. Here's this Baller TV, and here's the prices on this. An annual subscription is $120, which is for 4 events and up to 4 users. Or you can do quarterly at $48, 1 per event and 1 viewer, or purchase it alone, one at a time. So the final thing is, I would like to ask your opinion on that, or Facebook Live. Let's see if I put that. Yep, here it is. There, if you'd fill that out real quick. Pretty much think I know what it is, but and again, guys, everybody, it's all or nothing. It's we'll have to. I mean, they would have to do it as a region or not do it, because they're probably not going to do it for 10 teams that want to do it. Okay, that pretty much tells us what we need to know there. All right, we're going to open it up for any questions at the end. We appreciate. I was hoping to get through by 6 o'clock, host, or to stay on for a few minutes. But anybody else that's got any questions, you want to speak up now or stick it in the chat?
Jimmy, I had a question come up about the USAV medical waivers. There's some changes to that this season. Can you address that?
I'm not familiar with it, actually.
Okay. I know that USAV was saying that it's recommended for the clubs now, but they aren't requiring it. You familiar with that?
Yeah, there was some confusion because some regions require that medical waiver release to come to us. We never have. That has been kept by the clubs in the event that somebody gets hurt at a tournament and their parent's not there. You can have that release and go get them treated.
Okay, so that's still just a high recommendation for the clubs, but not a requirement
yes,
within.
That's Kim. I'm almost sure we've got the updated forms online. Correct?
Yeah, the updated form is online.
Okay. Anybody else got any questions? You want to speak up now? Okay, I'll end. Again, host, please stay online. Everybody else is released, and I would highly encourage you, read your director's desk, because this year is going to be critical. If you've missed a week, go back and read it. Are those posted yet, Kim?
No, but I'm doing it tonight. So
Okay.
by tomorrow, you'll see them.
Now, Kim, you're going to do an announcement. You're having quadruplets?
No. No, but I am pregnant and I'm due in February, so this club's
Oh, how
Everybody
fun.
give her a hand.
crazy.
Congratulations, Kim.
Thank you.
Yeah, another volleyball player. Okay, everybody, thank you so much. We will have a little more communication this year than normal just because of the year, but we'll be talking soon. Thank you for taking time and spending a couple of hours with us.
Jimmy, do you want
Host,
board to stay on or just hosts?
host, just to stay on, give us, we'll take a 3-minute break and then we'll talk to everybody while everybody's getting signed off. Thanks again, everybody. Thank you, Sue.
Huh?
How Lucy?
Good. She did a good job.
What'd they do?
A monologue. It's like saying what the actor or actress or historical figure would say.
Let's see.
A monologue.
Okay.
Just wanted to eat a piece of pizza. That's why I told y'all I needed 3 minutes.
So Jimmy, I would suggest that this was a great way to hold this meeting. Saves an awful lot of driving for everybody.
Yeah.
So I would encourage us to do this even in a non-COVID environment.
Sounds good to me.
I mean, I think I saw 72-ish people
Yeah, we
in
had a
attendance.
good crowd.
So I think it just is so much more convenient, and everybody's getting so used to these meetings now. It's like nobody had to figure out the technology. Everybody's been doing this with somebody in their life. So,
Jimmy, I tried to take attendance. There are a few that I didn't see. Do you want me to send this to you?
Please, yeah. I would like. I knew a few of them.
I didn't see anybody from Max.
But it wasn't coming. But anyway.
Okay. I'll send